welcome. Here I am getting ready to work on day 14 of Mermay. Very exciting. I hope you can all hear me well. This is not the first time that I'm streaming, period. Not the first time that I'm streaming from YouTube, but I haven't done this since last July, so I'm used to streaming from Twitch. I think everything is working out pretty okay, but if there's any issues, you can let me know and I'll try and figure it out. I'm hoping to do more of these. We're already 2 weeks into Mermay. I'm hoping to do more of these as it goes on. So far, I've managed to do a drawing every single day, so I'm very proud of myself for that. If you want to see them, the best way to do that is probably to go over to my Instagram, which is In a Wooden House, because there you'll be able to see all of the drawings that I've done for Mermay so far and no other filler stuff. Because anywhere else that I posted it, I post like a bunch of other things too. But if you want to just see the Mermay drawings that I've worked on for the past 2 weeks, go to my Instagram. Again, that's In a Wooden House. And yeah, you'll be able to see everything that I've done so far. So I'm really proud that I've been able to do this Mermay drawing every single day. It's one of the things that kept me from doing it ever before, any kind of art challenge really. But I actually managed to accomplish this 2 full weeks, basically. I mean, I guess technically I haven't done day 14 yet, but once I do, then it'll be 2 full weeks. So I feel pretty confident that I'll be able to keep going for the rest of the month. So I definitely want to do more of these. I don't know which ones I'll do. And since I do my game streams on Twitch, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, don't think I'll be able to do Mermay streams on those days. But I'll keep you guys posted on when I go live with these. But for today, I want to at least get like kind of my sketch done for today's prompt. So 2 things. One is that, yes, I am doing Ariel fan art for every single day for Mermay. And that's in part because I thought it would be hilarious to do it. Like, I thought it might be a funny little thing to do. Wouldn't it be hilarious if I did Mermay but only did Ariel fan art? So that's what I've done so far. Every single drawing is Ariel. Another reason why I did that, apart from thinking that it would be funny, I think it's helped me a lot to have one character that I'm drawing over and over again, and especially a character that has already been designed. Because then I don't have to think about that aspect of the drawing when I'm trying to, complete these every day. I already have a set character, so I don't have to worry about that. I know what the color palette's going to be and stuff like that. So that's helped me out a lot. And then in terms of the prompts, I'm using these prompts here. Hold on. That didn't move over to the right screen. I'm just using these prompts, which are on the official Mermay website. So we're at day 14 right now, which is Adrift. So let's get started here. I feel like I've talked for long enough. If you watch my gaming streams, then you know how good I am at talking before I get started with anything. So day 14. The best thing that I did for myself before starting Mermay was to make Photoshop files for every single day and name them with the number of the day and the prompt word. That helps me so much because now I feel like I don't have a hurdle to get started. I already have the file created. And it's beautiful. And the prompt is right there, so I don't have to think, oh, I gotta open up this website and figure out what the prompt is, and then I have to make my Photoshop file. All that stuff is already done. So I would say if you're If you've never done an art challenge before and you want to, or really any kind of challenge, but thinking about this specifically, if you want to do something like this and you're afraid of that idea of something stopping you from even starting every day, try and like plan ahead and set up things as much as you can ahead of time to really help you, get started every day. So I made a new layer here because I only had the background layer. That's one thing I didn't do, was make multiple layers for like sketches and stuff in these Photoshop files, but that's okay. Make a new layer. I like to call it Sketch 01. And I think I've been averaging about 3 or 4 sketch layers for these. Usually that's how long it takes me to get the idea and then get it to actually look good. So what I like to do, first of all, let me figure out what brush do I have set right now. I downloaded, so I have the charcoal pencil. Most of the time, in the past at least, I've been using the default brushes in Photoshop. I like this charcoal pencil brush and this charcoal pencil brush down here, which is a little different but called the same, as well as the Conte pencil. Those, I think, out of Photoshop's default brushes are the ones that I tend to use the most. I don't know if I'll start with that today though. I do have, further down here, I found some additional brushes and downloaded those as well. So Shiun Kim brushes, which are like great for doing like cartoony stuff. They're like ink brushes. This is what I used for the Fury drawing from 2 days ago. This was the brush I used for like the line work, and I really like the way it comes out. So might do something with that. We'll see. Yeah, all these packs here. This pencil brush by and Antonius, I think, is a DeviantArt user. This one is a pretty nice brush. So I might just start with that. It's a good pencil brush to use. But actually, let me go back to this ink brush real quick. One of the first things I like to do is write down the prompt, even though I know what it is from, the title of my file. I still like to write it down because I think it helps me to like get in that mindset. Okay, so today is Adrift. And kind of what I was thinking with this is like floating. So obviously mermaids are kind of already floating, by way of being mermaids and underwater. So it's really easy to float when you're underwater. But I want to do something with floating. I think I want to have her like kind of sideways. So I'm just like trying to get a shape down, and then I'm picturing like the head on hand sort of pose, and probably she would start here, and then maybe like she just has her hand over there. I mean, that's not bad. And then this will probably come out that way. So you can see this is like very rough, and sometimes I will do these really rough. What's happening here? What's this shape? I'm trying to get this happening, like facing this way. Sometimes I will get these very rough shapes in and then forget to add more detail later. So, whoops. Or I'll get like, especially, it can happen sometimes in the face, like the actual facial features. The head shape usually I do okay with, to remember to like kind of shape it a little bit more. But sometimes the actual facial features I'll forget to plan out. and hands. As you can see right now, I just have these ovals for the hands. They probably will stay like that for a little while. Sometimes I end up in like my final sketch layer and I'm like, oh, I still haven't drawn the hands yet. It's something I'm working on, I promise. Okay, but moving forward. Yeah, I just kind of, I mean, that's not a good eye right there. I think I might need to switch my brush right now because today I'm not feeling very patient. And I think with this pencil brush, you know, you gotta kind of like do a lot of strokes before you're getting clear lines. This is the other thing that I like to do in my sketches is I just draw random shapes and see where it leads me. Like this can be some kind of weird animal. How about that? I don't know. I just like to doodle, you know, and that's what I am. I'm a doodler. It's where I get all my ideas from. This has nothing to do with what I'm trying to draw up here. So, Ariel, do I like this? Adrift. What else is it? What else can be used for adrift? Or floating? Because I kind of like that. I have a lot of ones. Well, do I? I don't know. Maybe I've been trying to push it more. I don't like doing ones that are just like standing. I like to avoid that if I can because I feel like it's too easy for me to do that kind of pose. And you know, with the mermaids, I've tried to do a couple at least where I get like the tail going. Well, that's an arrow and not a tail. Where I get like the tail above and the head kind of below because it's a mermaid. You can do that with mermaids. If I draw people, they're just standing always like this. So I don't want to do that with my mermaids too. So I do want to do something that's like more sideways though, because the one I did yesterday was a little more curvy like that. So I think just to have something where she's like on her side would be good. I mean, this one's not bad. Probably I wouldn't have the head facing so much to the side. Maybe more like that. And I can draw in some of the hair. I mean, this is really not at all close to what the final will look like. But just to get some ideas. And, yeah, I mean, do I like that? I don't know. I have to hit a bunch of buttons sometimes. I have the, Huion Canvas Pro 19, I think it is, drawing tablet, which is great. I love it. This is my first drawing tablet that actually has a screen on it, and I love it. But sometimes I think some of the keys, if I use them, it like acts like certain keys are being held down for longer than I'm pressing the button, like the spacebar or control key. So sometimes I have to like hit it a couple of times for it to go back. So that's why if you see me struggling and I have like the hand key up a bunch, that's probably why. Let's see. You can probably do a counter of how many times I say and let's see during the stream. It's my kind of like a tick for when I'm trying to think, I guess. I didn't really mean to like fill this sketch out more, but it's just happening. What else can we do for Adrift? Like, I mean, the other thought that I have is this kind of pose. Da, 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 da. Which maybe we can have some fun with the fins. I don't really do too much with the fins, and I should do more. I saw earlier someone who had the fins kind of like folded over like this, and I like the way that looks, so maybe I'll try something more like that today. This one's not bad. It doesn't quite say floating to me. But I think we could work with it, and then her hair can come out like this. Sometimes when you're drawing the same character every day, it can feel like too repetitive, I think, sometimes. But in a way that can be really good, because then it sort of forces you to think, okay, I have to draw her hair like this every day, but what else can I do to make it more interesting? So like yesterday for Alien, I tried to have her hair like, because I gave her a helmet. She was floating in space. I gave her a helmet kind of like SpongeBob had whenever he had to go into Sandy's treehouse, that was filled with water. And instead of just keeping all of her hair inside of the helmet, I like had it come out the bottom of the helmet and then kind of floating, because even though she's not under the sea in that picture, she's still in like zero gravity, I guess. So yeah, even though drawing the same character every day can feel a little repetitive at times, I do think it helps you to actually be more creative in some ways, so that you don't get, I mean, like I said before, when I draw people, I always draw them standing up, and that's something I know about myself, and something that as I'm drawing every single day, I start to see the things that I drift toward as well. So it's kind of similar, that if you're gonna be drawing the same things over and over again, you really have to push yourself to think, what new thing can I bring to this? And the prompts help a little bit, because you know, they let you explore different themes, maybe able to show different expressions, draw different objects. I haven't done too much with that, I guess. Well, like I was able to draw the trident, a crown, the throne, the shell throne, rocks. I had flounder in one of them, and I think actually one of the prompts coming up is crustacean. So I'll get to try, I'm going to try and draw Sebastian with that one. So those can help, but there's still going to be elements that you have to draw over and over again. There's still going to be aspects of the drawing that, like aspects of drawing in general, that you kind of naturally veer more toward. And so it's like trying to actively work against that is fun. It's fun when you can feel successful that you've done it. The other great thing about doing the daily art challenge that I found is that I care less about the individual drawings, because I know I'm gonna do another one tomorrow. And so if this one today isn't that great, it's fine, because I'm doing 31 days of this, and so of course not every single one is gonna be good. Some of them are gonna be terrible, and that's okay. So it kind of, yeah, takes away some of the pressure here. I think I actually kind of am liking this second option. And we can have her like, well, not quite like that. We can have her like daydreaming or something. I mean, the hands need to be way further down on the face than they are in this sketch. But okay. Maybe I'll do both. I mean, I'm gonna try and do both. So I'm gonna start a new sketch layer here. Actually, what I'll do before that is take my lasso tool. Well, I like to use, this lasso tool instead of the polygonal lasso tool because I like to just draw out here. I find it's one of those things where, with the polygonal lasso tool can be nice at times. But it's one of those things where the fewer clicks you can make, the better. I find, especially for me with using a drawing tablet pen, that I like click too hard or I'm a little too rough on my hands when I'm drawing. So I try to like be nicer or do the things that aren't going to harm my hands as much. So I like to use the lasso tool instead of the polygonal lasso tool, because then I don't have to keep like hitting on the screen. I just draw around. So I just wanted to scale them up a little bit, and I ended up moving them too, so that way they fit well compared to the rest of the page. I probably will make more adjustments to the position of these two sketches, but for right now, I mean, I'm not set on doing both of them, but for right now, I'm just gonna work with both of them. And since they're lighter, I think I'm gonna lower the opacity on this layer. I'm gonna lower it to 30% right now. Usually I do like around 20%, I found is good, but again, because I use this pencil brush and it's a little bit lighter, it's a little bit lighter, so I'm gonna keep the opacity up a bit higher. Okay, now what brush do I want to use to keep sketching? Because I think I need to switch from this pencil. It's not working so well for me today. I think the drawing that I did yesterday, no wait, maybe it was in this concept art brush pack. I think I was using this hard round, and I do like the way it comes out. May make my new layer, sketch 02. I definitely like the way it comes out for using for line work, but this is my process. What do I use? And I went into my brush settings and I did not mean to. Trying to figure out what brush to use, man. That also takes some of the motivation away for me. So I'm gonna just go with my charcoal pencil brush, and I'm gonna turn the opacity sensitivity on for this brush, so that way I'm not drawing without it. You can see it's like the solid black. This just, I find, helps me be more like a bit sketchier and still be able to like see lines more clearly later. Okay, so which one should I start with? I don't really feel like either of these are in a good place yet. Well, let's start with this top one. Okay. So I like this line, I think is important to have in here. So I want to kind of think about a ground, sort of, even though she's floating. It just helps me to like align everything. Right now her hand is kind of at the back of her head, which is not necessarily what I intended, but I think I actually kind of like it. And I have her at this kind of angle here, which I think could work. Maybe. No, but I don't think she'd be at that angle. Okay. I'm gonna delete that. I think her torso would be like this. Right? come down like this, and then we do something with the fin. I might change that from the way it is. Or at least maybe you can do, like I was talking about in the other one, having them like kind of fold over more. So you can do something like that. And then the shoulder probably come out to about here. I don't think we'd see her thumb, right? It would be down. Her thumb would be over on that side, and probably wouldn't see it at all. So let me make like a pinky indication here. Super, super rough. Just trying to get a feel for it. Like it's so bad right now. I'm not loving this one, and I think that this arm's gonna be too long. Would it come out more this way? Okay, I'm gonna take a break from that one. And let me try working on this one instead and see if this one, if I can make more sense of this one. So we start with our head here. Okay, I'm gonna give her more of like the appropriate eye shape, which is kind of, Ariel kind of has this like more circular on like the outside of the eye, depending on which side she's facing. And then with the inside, or the opposite side, it's more like a corner there that rounds to meet that other edge. So then the nose here, I don't really know what expression to give her. I think her eyes might need to move up a little bit. They're a little too low right now. So again, I'm just going to use the Lasso Tool. This is one of the best parts about doing digital art. Just use the Lasso Tool to select the eyes and then move them up. Yeah, I think that already looks a little bit better. So what's a kind of like daydreaming face? Maybe she can have, well, it's a drift. So I don't want her to look too happy. I want her to kind of look a little bored. So we'll do this. Oof. I always find, you know, this is like kind of, I think, an artist trope, which is drawing one eye really well and then the other one's terrible. Also, I don't know what I'm doing with her hair right now, so I'm just gonna undo that. Because her hair, it like swoops in the front, whoosh. But technically, how much you see of like this area here depends on what side it's on. So like you see more when she's facing her left, but in here I have her facing on her right. And so from what I've seen anyway in screenshots from The Little Mermaid, you see less of that, but right now I'm not too concerned about it. That's the other thing that I try to be aware of every day. I'm just doing a lot of different lines for hair. Is like, which way did I have her facing yesterday? which yesterday actually did have her facing this same direction, but I think that's okay. I'm going to go with more swoopy hair at the bottom today, I think, instead of the normally I do more like this, which kind of looks like kind of looks like her fins with those two, but I think because today's Adrift and this is a little more dreamy, I'm gonna go with these like more rounded ends for the hair to kind of be more like clouds. Okay, then this is always something I have to think about too. With the hands on the face, the thumbs go in toward the neck, okay? Because I always want to like draw it like this, and then I'm like, that's not right. Her pinky would be here. And then thumb. I mean, that's still not right, the way that I just drew it. Because I think that, again, you wouldn't really see her thumb here. Okay, not bad. Pinky. And just kind of, yeah, being a little more, I don't feel confident to call this gesture drawing. I feel much more confident to call this educated scribbling. I'm undoing everything that I just did with this hand because I don't like it. And it was taking up too much space for me to just work around it. I think for this hand we'd see much. Am I drawing this the right way? No, I'm not. What I said before about wanting to draw the thumb over here is right, I think. Good Lord. Hands are tough. I have to like sit with my hands on my face right now to figure out what I'm trying to do. I mean, I have my pinky on my cheek, and then, but I have my hand, no, this is right, but I just have, like, my hands are more twisted than hers are. Okay. Okay, we're good. We're all right. Everything's grand. I didn't draw any kind of ground line for this sketch, so whoops. Let's put a hand there. Let's go that way. Okay, I think that's where I'm gonna leave the hands for right now. I don't want to put too much time into it at this phase because I still have a lot of other parts of the drawing to keep working on. I think that looks pretty good with the shoulders and the neck. Now I'm gonna have to figure out, how does this work? How do bodies work when you draw them like this? I don't think I've ever drawn anyone laying down before. Okay, I know I also never really take the time to measure when I'm drawing the tail or anything in these drawings. It's just kind of like a combination of eyeballing it and just figuring out what I feel, how much tail do I feel like giving her on a particular day. Is this a long enough tail? Probably. But I kind of also would like it to curve more. So maybe more like that. And then what I might do right now, make a new layer real quick, hide my other sketch layer, just because I like the start of this. Just get some scribble in there so I know it's supposed to be like kind of folded. I don't know how that would look on this other side. Something like that. This way, because I like the sketch aspect of that part of it, but I know I need it to fit in with the way that I changed the tail. I think I'm going to make this smaller. So I just put it on a new layer so that way it's easy for me to manipulate. And her hair is going to cover that. Well, I can change the hair and maybe have it more floating up like this. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty good. So I think I will stick with this second sketch here and not go with the first one. So what I want to do now is just combine that new layer I made with the sketch layer. You can right click and do merge down. I like to just bring that second layer underneath and then do Control E, which will merge them together. The reason why I bring the other layer underneath is that if you merge two layers with the keyboard shortcut, whichever layer is on top, that's the name that gets picked for the new layer. If you right click and merge down, it's gonna save the name of whatever you merged down to. But if you're doing it with the keyboard shortcut, you can see it's still called Sketch02. So that's why I like to bring the other layer down, whichever layer, and especially if it doesn't matter which one's on top. If it does matter, then I just have to rename it. But in this case, it didn't matter. So when I merge them, I just keep the named layer on top so it stays and I don't have to change it. Okay. So now I'll do the same thing. I might go down to 20 again for this one. And then make sketch 3. This can be a long process depending on the day. You know, like some days I don't really have much inspiration for it, or so far it hasn't been too bad. Like most days I can come up with a concept at least pretty quickly. Then I might just have to work a bit on things like the anatomy and whatnot. But I think some of the ones that are coming up I might have a more difficult time coming up with ideas for them, especially considering that, like, you know, having to do this every day, I have to make sure that I have enough time set aside to complete them. So some of them, like I think the one for Tranquil, which I had the idea before I went in to do it, that I wanted to maybe like incorporate some sort of yoga poses. And I actually thought about doing like multiple poses, but I started it at like 8 o'clock at night. It was too late for me. And so I was just like, I'm just going to do one pose. I'm going to do like the bare minimum and get it done. I think that one came out pretty well. So again, it's like that thought of like not every single drawing every day needs to be a masterpiece. It just needs to be done. And try to incorporate something different that you haven't incorporated yet, or that you haven't incorporated in a while, or including some kind of new element or new way of coloring things or assembling things or using different brushes. You know, just trying to change it up a little bit every day, but without putting too much pressure to be like incredible art every single day. It really helps to approach it in that way instead. So what I would like to do now, you know, really with every sketch layer, I try to think about what are the most important areas of the drawing. What do I need to get right first for everything else to kind of click, or what do I really want to make sure is in place? And right now I think it's the shoulders, which I believe that I said like 2 minutes ago that these are working really well. But at the same time, I want to make sure that I really get it right. I think it can still use some work. So first I'm just going to draw out the shoulder and see like how far apart do I want these. I drew that a little further away, but I don't think I like it there. So maybe I'll go back to what it was before. Well, okay, hold on. I'm just going to delete that. I think that her head needs to move to a different position, first of all. So I actually might redraw her head. Let me think about this. She shouldn't be so straight over this way on this side. She should be more coming back like this. Like basically think about her going up like that. Right? Something like that. This might take me more than 3 sketch layers to work through this one today. In part because I'm trying to push myself here and draw kind of a pose that I don't draw ever. And so I have to like think more about the way that it looks. And I have to do more erasing. I try not to erase too often if I can avoid it, because I think I can learn from certain things the more that I keep up. But when I have too many lines, it also confuses me sometimes. So I just want to start fresh sometimes, you know? And get down certain details and work through it and have it be ugly. But eventually I'll get there. Well, the fin's gonna be different then, I think. Is it? Or maybe I will go back to... It's like, how can I get it up and still curl well at the same time? I want it to have more flow to it, you know, the tail, because she's a mermaid. But I don't want it to I don't want it to seem too stiff. But I also don't, you know, what's mermaid anatomy? What do they have under there? Is it bones? Is it nothing? Cartilage? Like that kind of thing. So it's like, how stiff should it be? How bendy should it be? And when and where and why? I don't know these things. And I can't say that am any expert in human anatomy to begin with. So combining that human aspect with being part fish, it's not really an easy task to undertake. So what I want to do more with this hand is have fingers kind of curling around the face instead of being flat like what I just had. Okay, time for the lasso tool again, because I just realized what I wanted to do with this, with the face, is have it on a separate layer so I can move it. So I'm going to Lasso Tool the hand that I just drew and right click layer via cut. So now it'll make a new cut with just that hand. And that way I don't have to worry about drawing over what's already here and then losing that when I move things. Because I've had that happen before. Sometimes it's not a big deal, but other times it's like, oh no, this like shoulder curve, for example, is really essential for me to be able to get this right, because you know that's something that I struggle with maybe. That's just an example, but within that example, you know, if it's something important like that, I don't want to lose it because I drew over it and have to move what I drew and therefore have to move the line that's important for me. So if it's something that I need to focus more on like that and don't want to damage what I've already done, then I just make a new layer. And then I'll do the same thing like I did before for, I don't know that this arm will be right, but we can do that. I'll do like I did with my other sketch layer before, and then just merge the two layers together when it's time. So I'm going to move the nose up a little bit higher too to match where the eyes are, because we moved the eyes up. I don't think I touched the nose at all. I didn't touch the nose. I'm going to make her eyes a little smaller, I think, and still move them up. These eyelashes are pretty similar to what I did yesterday. I think I'm just kind of developing my style for drawing Ariel. Okay, that's not bad. Then sometimes I do copy the eye. I don't know if I want to do that today, but let's try it. Sometimes I'll just do this. I think it needs to be a little bit smaller on that side. Something like that. Give her something of a lip. I don't like that. Also, this line for the kind of cheek and jaw is throwing me off a bit. Okay. The other thing too with this tablet is that sometimes it does like a double click thing in here, and then I'll end up with like this huge thick line, even though that's not what I wanted. I think I might need to adjust this mouth a little bit. We'll bring it over there more. It was kind of like too smirky, but it wasn't making sense for it to be smirky, you know? I think her ear needs to be like this, and something more like that. I've also was maybe drawing a little bit from an angle. Okay. So I'm just gonna approximate her hair here. The hair is another thing. I know I talked earlier about like using the reference of the movie, but sometimes I also just kind of make it up. I'm like, I want her hair to look like this right now. That's what it's gonna look like. I mean, it's like close enough, because really, what does it matter? If you can tell who it's supposed to be, you know, there are more iconic things about her that kind of give that away, so I'm not too worried about messing with the hair in terms of like how swoopy it is at any point or anything like that. So this arm was not too far off from where I had the elbow. I just need to, I'm gonna hide my sketch layer real quick just so I can darken these up. my previous sketch layer, I should say. Because otherwise it gets to be too many lines in here. Gets to be a little confusing. Sometimes I'll also hide the sketch layer that I'm working off of just to see, is this making sense? I think this is making sense. So I think we're on a good track. I didn't draw in her bra. Usually what I like to do, I find the middle of the chest, and then I've been drawing in diamonds first. Just to get like the placement right. So that should be like her stomach and then going that way. Something like that. Definitely can see what I mean just now with the zooming, that sometimes my keys get stuck. I don't really know how I want the hair to work totally up there. It might be something that I come back to when I do the actual line art. I think that maybe it might be cool to have it coming from up here and swoop down, but that just might be too much hair. Something like that. Again, the hair is not too much of a concern. For me, that's something I can easily change later on. It's more about more like anatomy type things, or the perspective that I want to focus more on, because those are going to trip me up in the future. So I'm at my third sketch layer right now. Do I feel comfortable with this, or should I do another version of the sketch layer? I'm gonna do one more version of the sketch layer, and then I think that might be the end of the video for today. But as always, I will be sharing the final drawing for today on my Instagram that I mentioned before. This is the best place to go to see them all, because I haven't been posting anything else in the past couple of weeks, so you'll be able to see every single drawing that I've done with nothing else in between, and that's in a wooden house on Instagram. So I'll post the finished drawing there later today, but I think I'm gonna do one more version of the sketch layer here, and then we will conclude the live stream for today. If you are interested in watching more live streams, I know this was pretty short notice for me announcing that I was going to do it, so I don't think that many people have been able to watch this as it's live, but if you're if you happen to rewatch this at a later time and are, but within reason, like the next couple of days or so, and are interested in seeing more of these live streams and wanting to participate in them, let me know, and I'll try and find times that work better for people. I know, like I said, this is very short notice, and it's like the middle of a Thursday afternoon, but just let me know if you want to see it and what days and times are good for you, and we can try and figure something out, and I will be sure to give more advance notice of any future Mermay live streams. We have 2 more weeks left, so plenty of time to do them. If you like, also, I will just put it out there once again that the prompts that I'm using are from the official Mermay website. So if you, I'm gonna bring them over here, and maybe this website will load. If you like as well, you can go to the mermay.com website and see what all the prompts are. If there are certain prompts that you guys would be interested in watching me do sketches for. If I have time, I'll do an entire drawing, but some of them, fair warning, some of them have taken me like 4 hours to do. So I can try and do that, or if it doesn't work to do a live stream, I can try to make a video about it, at least do like a screen recording of me creating it and talk through my thoughts again. It just won't be live. So yeah, feel free to like look through those prompts and let me know if there's specific ones that you're interested in watching videos for of me creating my drawings. Okay, we'll get this face. I don't love the way that I keep drawing the chin and stuff, but I don't really know how else to do it. Excuse me, because her cheek like kind of curves out, and then her chin like comes to more of, it's like a soft point, but it's still a point. It's not like super flat. She doesn't have like a chin, you know. It's not jutting out. I think something's still, maybe her jaw's coming up too much here. Maybe it should be more like this, and then her ear should be more like that. Okay. I'm gonna draw that for the hair. Why not? This swoopy bit here I'm pretty happy with, so I'm just gonna kind of copy over that as much as I can. This back here I might add a little bit more to it. Again, if I'm thinking about it, because we have this whole adrift and kind of floaty, cloud-like, so instead of only incorporating it at the ends of our hair, maybe incorporate it more at the top here as well. I don't know about this side, so I'm not going to touch that yet. I want to draw in more of her body before I worry about that. Also, I think that her head might be too big. So since that's the only thing that I have drawn, I'm just going to scale it down a little bit. I think that already looks better. Particularly anatomically speaking. So we'll give her this neck right here. Then I have to think, where does that neck fit in amongst the shoulders? Whoops, can see what I mean about the brush going kind of what's the term? Rogue brush. Trying to get it so her shoulders are kind of like up, like kind of scrunched up a little bit. So maybe her head needs to move down more. And I might have this arm come out here a little bit. I'm pretty okay with the hand here with the amount of detail that I have in there. I think I can work well enough off of that when I do my actual drawing. Does that look long enough? I think her hand needs to be bigger, maybe. Okay. And then connect. I'm gonna erase this because it's not helping me. All right. Then I've got this hand. I'm pretty happy with the positioning for the hands right now, so I'm glad that worked out. That's a tough thing to accomplish. That's pretty good for that. If we have this shoulder here, then it kind of like goes like that. And then I think that actually her shell bra would need to be up a little bit more from what I drew it in the other layer. And we have her. Is this, I mean, I will admit it's probably not anatomically correct anyway. So, like, I'm not trying to act like, oh, that's perfect and exactly how it would look and exactly how it should look. Because I think that there are going to be parts of this that still could use a lot of work, even once I get my final drawing done. But again, it's okay, because I'm just trying to practice every day. That's for me what the point of doing this challenge is. It's not about making the best art every day. It's about making art every day and learning from it eventually. I don't know what I did with the tail here, but I think it's not quite right with this side. Like, I think this is supposed to come over that way more, but I still want to give it some of that like diamondy shape. I think that's good enough for me to work off of though. And pretty much from here, her head still seems big to me. There's definitely things to work on. Like, I think no. Maybe this was more right before. Oh boy. This is going to be something that I work more on later, I think. Let's draw in some cloud hair. No, not like that. Let me go from the bottom here, and I like this swoop. Then I like the idea of it coming in a little bit and then going back out. But I just don't know how to reconnect it to the top here. Maybe something like that. Like, where would this hair come from? At the same time, shouldn't it come more like this and then out? Because perspective. It's just hard to like get, the hair feels so flat. It doesn't really feel like this hair is behind and this hair is in front. So maybe what I should be doing is like multiple layers of it. Again, this is something that I can mess with later too. When I do the line work, it's not too important to the rest of the drawing to get it like perfect in the sketch. I think that's pretty good. I mean, it's okay. The thing is that she definitely wouldn't be able to sit like this for very long. It's not a super comfortable position. But I think I've got it to a decent place. where I would feel comfortable moving forward with this to do line art. Maybe a lot of other people wouldn't feel comfortable yet. Might need to sketch more, but I think this is okay. So yeah, from here I would do my line work, and then some days I try to do actually more of a lineless style. Some days I just do lines. I've been doing more lines lately, I think, because the lineless takes a long time to do. Even just doing line work and then coloring it also takes a long time. You can see I've already spent an hour just on my sketches. So that's another thing to consider if you're wanting to get into an art challenge like this, making sure that you have enough time to set every day. But again, you can, be more lenient with yourself, and knowing that like just getting something done is a goal accomplished. Yeah. So that's it for today. Day 14, we did the sketch for the prompt Adrift. Again, I will be posting this finished drawing and all future finished drawings for Mermay on my Instagram. That's the best place for you to look to see it, because you'll be able to see all of them right there. No other posts to filter through. So Instagram at In a Wooden House. You can check out the drawings that I've already done, and you can follow me to get updated on the new and or future drawings as they come out. So if you've enjoyed watching me go through this process, if you're interested in seeing more videos like this, or attending more live streams like this, let me know. If there's a specific Mermay prompt from the official mermay.com list that you're interested in seeing me either live stream or make a video about, let me know, and I will be glad to try to accommodate that. But for now, thank you for watching. I've had a lot of fun. I definitely want to do this again before the end of Mermay, and I will give advance notice for it and try to schedule at a time that's good for a lot of people to be able to attend. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting my Mermay drawings, and I hope you have a lovely day. Peace out.